My name is Deborah Hurst. I'm the Associate Dean and the MBA Program Director at Athabasca University, and I'm also an Associate Professor in Work and Organization Studies. What I was just presenting really was a Women in Logistics research project that I work in collaboration with Martha Cooper of Ohio State University. It's really her project. She's been doing it since 2001, and she invited me in to collaborate with her in terms of interpreting the data results, as well as to make it a global study. And so it's predominantly North America, but we do have respondents also from other countries to a smaller extent. And so what this study does is it looks at women in logistics and the issues and the concerns, as well as the strengths and the excitement that they experience in their career. These are members of the CSCMP. They're predominantly manager, director, executive level already, because that is the nature of the conference. And so we already have a sort of a selected sample in terms of what they're experiencing. But it's very, very interesting because they're experiencing things in 2011 that they were experiencing in 2001 and that I experienced in my first career in the automotive industry in the late 70s, early 80s. And that is, there are still challenges. It's still a male-dominated field. They're still struggling with how to break into that.
You know, is it an age-related thing? Is it a male-female thing? I don't know. Personally, I think it's a male-female thing in the transport side.
There's also issues around what it takes to succeed in that field. That's, a lot of people fall into logistics and supply chain. They work their way up from the ground floor and into higher levels. That sort of linear career progression isn't keeping pace with what's happening in the economy today.
Basically, that means you need to learn the rules of the game. You get promotions as you go up the ladder, and you get your stripes. And this is kind of difficult when you're also trying to balance work and family and personal time, if you want to even take a course or two. So what are the effects of balancing work and family, having a full-time expectation, a linear career progression?
So I also talked about the impact of communication technologies and how work is being redesigned and in the knowledge economy, and that in juxtaposition with the different ways of working in that career path are out of sync. We talked about challenges women have with respect to those jobs with work and family integration, having enough time to actually balance the demands of this incredibly challenging career with their family and other responsibilities. But what was really interesting to me is that they're all so positive. They really love this field. They have so much to offer. They believe that it's challenging and exciting, and they love the travel, and they love the sort of different demands that are coming at them at great speed every day. And they're really thriving in that.
Supply chain is so, I'm going to call it vast, both breadth and width. There's so many different types of positions and so many different types of roles in supply chain. It'll take you your entire career if you wanted to move through all of it. I talk about my 20 years experience, so come talk to me later. I can tell you where I've been, where I've lived, how many industries I've worked in, that type of thing. So it's all been positive.
At the same time, they're experiencing these challenges, and some of the challenges have to do with not being given the chance, not being heard. They've broken through the glass ceiling, but they're now encountering something different. And so one of the things that I mentioned was the glass cliff, which is new research with respect to the precarious nature of the leadership roles that are becoming available to them and how they're negotiating that. In the discussion that ensued here, we talked about those challenges and the reality of them in this group of Canadian women here in Calgary. And it was interesting to hear their points of view in terms of what they're encountering.
So the glass ceiling, and then is it a glass cliff? The first thing I thought of when I actually thought about that too was there's a few things. Is that just the nature of work at that level? So once you actually reach that level, those are precarious positions. The work has risk, right? I'm not sure that I would agree that it's actually precarious just due to the nature of breaking through.
Sometimes it's a bit of what's next, and it's you know, where can I take myself to? I mean, in my case, I've had trucking, air, ocean, you know, customs, a little of everything, and now I'm at rail, and then you hit that point where you're like, it's not a case of anything's been bad or anything's been negative, but it's, I mean, I'm a young woman, I want to keep growing. In my mind, I want to be the next, you know, CEO of whatever.
One other topic I talked about was the younger versus older generational effects, and it's very, very interesting. When you talk to the older workers, the survey results will say that they feel entitled. They want to get, you know, hit the ground running, and they don't want to put in their time. And this goes back to that linear career progression idea. Whereas when you talk to the younger workers, they're saying, I just want to make a difference. I want to find my place. I will commit, but not until I find a place that is suitable for me.
We're eager to learn. We want to learn. We want to have opportunities to put to use what we've learned in our education. And we're willing to, you know, work with you along the way. I think for me speaks tenfold.
And so these are the kinds of things that we're talking about in the survey. This year we're looking at decision-making styles between men and women, and how that is has impacted. But you'll have to stay tuned, for those results aren't going to be published till this weekend at the Atlanta CSCMP conference.